exhibition has a long history. First presented as a one-day event in 1886 on the Louise grounds, now the location of Newtana Collegiate, it moved to its current location in 1909. In 1918, one of the attractions was a show called Underground Chinatown. After a meeting with exhibition officials to no avail, the local Chinese community made public its objections to this attraction. A paid advertisement ran in the Saskatoon Daily Star in July 1918, following a representative meeting of Chinese residents. Senator?
This is from July 1918, which is almost 100 years ago, my brain's slow today, 94 years ago. The members of the Chinese colony of Saskatoon take this means of expressing to the citizens their regret that the management of the exhibition have granted a concession to the show on the Midway known as Underground Chinatown. From every point of view, the show is objectionable and offensive to our people, and we believe that the sense of fair play for which the majority of Saskatoonians are noted will enable them to see it in the same light. We are neither admitting nor denying that conditions such as those depicted ever really existed in San Francisco. Every race of people has its unworthy and degenerate members. The Chinese are no exception. Yet, it would be unfair to judge a race by its defective and criminal classes. There are underworlds in London, Paris, and New York. But if anyone put on a show of underground England depicting commercialized vice as it may exist there, would our English friends like it? Nor would the self-respecting people of any country. Yet, in this show, drugs, gambling, prostitution are represented as distinctly Chinese vices. As regards to opium smoking, the Chinese government is making strenuous efforts for its suppression. Its use is rapidly diminishing. The story of the Opium War does not make good reading. It is our wish to forget it and to cooperate with our allies for the creation of a better world. The manager of the show in question claims that he is teaching great moral lessons, but every theatrical play and moving picture that is off-color and suggestive makes the same claim. The appeal is generally to man's lower nature, and the moral lesson is offered as an excuse for gratifying a morbid curiosity. We do not understand that morality is best taught by debasing exhibitions of immorality. The officials of the exhibition received our deputation very courteously and assured us that no offense was intended. Nevertheless, while accepting our sincerity of this statement, we insist that their eagerness to make money has led them to present a show which misrepresents and insults the citizens of a friendly ally. Our people are developing a national consciousness which is sensitive to unfair discrimination and insult. We wish in every way to merit the confidence and respect of the best people. We hope that the directors will not again permit our race to be held up to ridicule and contempt. We understand that the exhibition is held for the advancement of the best in agriculture, manufacture, and art. Our nation has much to offer on these lines. Perhaps another year we may be able to present a display of Chinese products and art for the inspection of fair visitors. We hope before many years to see the development of extensive trade relations between China and Canada with a better understanding between the people of both countries. This is almost like the Chinese horoscope. We just had the Chinese New Year celebration ended on Monday. The New Year's, I think, was February 5th or 6th. We now have a trade mission actually going to China. Again, every government is going over, so these people were predicting. And we look in the stores now and we see all the beautiful art, work, and history, and China has a remarkable, thousands of years long history. When I read this, it of course made me think of my own family. My father came to China in 1912. He paid a head tax, which is like your immigration landing fee. That tax was applied only ever to the Chinese. $500 was what he paid. That was like 2 years' salary. He came here as a 14-year-old. In 1923, the federal government passed a law that said no Chinese can come to Canada at all. It was completely blocked, except for diplomats and probably a few scholars. That was in effect until 1947. My father had a family in China. He couldn't bring them over. So what did he do? He had a second family. So we were his second family. That's the story of many of the Chinese that live in Canada, in Saskatchewan, and in Saskatoon. And when I read this, I thought, how many Chinese were here in 1918? In Moose Jaw, apparently, there were quite a large number. And how do you think they got there on the railway? And who helped build that railway? The Chinese. So that's what it made me think about. And I also thought, they must have had tremendous courage to write that letter to the paper, because they were discriminated against, and yet it's quite a bold and courageous letter. And so they're putting themselves up there as a target, and yet they felt they had to do it. So they were very courageous men. Thank you.